Why will the narcissist end up alone? Ironically enough, they're already alone. Think about that for a second. But you're telling me, yeah, but Kai, they have a new girlfriend, or they have a new boyfriend, or they have all these people around them, they have a huge social circle. It doesn't matter. You can still be alone while in a crowd. You can still feel lonely in a crowd. Just because they have someone that they're having sex with and someone that's feeding them validation and love, because that's all they view it as, is validation and attention and energy. That doesn't mean that they feel truly connected with somebody. That doesn't mean they feel an authentic relationship with them. How could they? They're not able to be authentic with themselves. They're not able to be vulnerable. They're not being ready to be like open and honest and ready to receive that kind of love. They'll never be. So how are they with someone now anyways? How are they not alone now? Because I know how it is. You break up with, you get torched by a narcissist, and all you want, because you're angry and you're upset, you want to see them suffer. You want to know that they're suffering with you. You want to know that they're hurting too, because I'm hurting. And I get it, rightfully so. You're angry. You're hurt and you're distraught over this. How could they? I understand. It's true. Feel that, experience that, but you'll get to a place eventually when you genuinely look at them with pity, compassion. From a distance. That doesn't mean you have to be there when their world eventually collapses and burns, I used to say, like, in my angry state of mind, I want to be there when they burn. But how does that make you any better than them? It doesn't. And it's only hurting you. They don't care. They're not sitting there they're not sitting there processing this and healing from this relationship, because they were never fully in there. That's why they're alone. You might have felt like you were with someone and you weren't lonely because you were emotionally invested and open and vulnerable. Right? They'll never feel that. Ever. But if you really want to think about it, narcissists play the short game. Play the long game. They play the short game, and what I mean by that is they're just living day to day with their supplies and their relationships. They don't really think about that stuff long term. They don't realize that as they get older and it gets harder and harder for them to find relationships and supply, and their bodies get, start to just age naturally. So they might hold on to it for a little bit, but eventually their family will get sick of them if they haven't already. Their friends will get sick of them, or they don't even really have friends. They just most of the time have drinking buddies and people that they keep at arm's length. These people don't care about them. These are just people, like, the people that the narcissist hangs out with are just genuinely people that are, like, for the most part, right, are just people that, let's go out for a beer. Let's go out for a drink. Let's go dance for the night. Let's go on a quick trip. Let's talk about some superficial things for a little bit. Let's talk some nonsense for a little bit and just satisfy some, emotional energy. I have an excess amount of emotional energy. I guess I'll just kind of use that to go experience life with someone for a little bit. But, like, truly authentic, powerful, long-lasting relationships, they're constantly filtering in and out of those because everyone sees them for who they are, and they leave them, or narcissist realizes that they're seen and that they're true, like, they're exposed, so they dump them. That's what it is. So over time, what happens, right? When it gets harder to manipulate people and harder to find supply, they get more angry and more bitter. It starts getting harder to find friends. It starts getting harder to find people. The anger and the bitterness just consumes them. It's like going to the dark side, even deeper. It's really sad if you think about it, I mean, it's bad. It's a sad thing. You know, I feel bad for them. You know, at least you got out, or you want to get out, and there is a way out. I know everyone's situation's different, and I know you might have kids with someone, or I might know you'd be married to them, or have a house together. I know, I get it. I've never had those types of close ties to a narcissist, so I don't know what that feels like. But I know it's hard. Can't even imagine. But at least you don't have to live inside of their skin like they do. You can escape them. You can at least have distance from them if you can't escape them fully. But they're going to get more bitter and more angry, and pretty soon they will be physically alone, not just emotionally alone. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with many, many aging narcissists that I've seen in my life. As soon as they get to a certain point, they always just end up being alone by themselves anyways. Their bodies are gone, their health is diminishing. No one wants to deal with them, you know. And I know that's the answer everyone wants to hear, right? Because you're hurt, you're upset, you're angry, and you want to know that they're going to be suffering too. And that's a good feeling, you know, to have for a little bit. That's a good feeling to use, because that's you feeling empowered, right? But just don't let that consume you. Don't let that take you over entirely. Eventually, you got to learn to move on from that. You know, the quickest, I've said this before, the antidote to anger is compassion. And you want to do that for yourself, because you want to be at peace. The goal is for you to be at peace, and for you to be able to move on to find a better relationship. How are you going to be able to find a really good relationship if you're still having anger and resentment toward other people? You're not going to treat them fairly. You're not going to give them a fair chance. There are good people out there. I've seen it. I've experienced it. There is love out there in the world, I promise you. Little spider. I had to focus on it for a sec. There are great people in the world. There are. And you're not going to find them until you move on from these narcissists and heal. You know, if that's what you want. You know, I'm not sitting here telling you what you need to do, but think about it. All right, guys. Hope you have a great day.